Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining today's session in our Interstellar Insight series, part of the global launch of my new book, What Space Got to Do with It, An Interstellar Guide to Success. This book is more than a continuation of the journey we began with Volume 1. It's a catalyst. It distills more than 35 years of experience in the global space ecosystem and draws from conversations with over 200 thought leaders who are shaping our world. At its core, it translates space inspired principles like systems thinking, visionary leadership, and strategic collaboration into practical strategies built around four main pillars: leadership, awareness, access, and action. Today, we're focused on one of the most powerful ways those pillars come to life: mentorship. More than guidance, mentorship is a launch pad for talent, a source of resilience, and a pathway to lasting impact. It shapes careers, strengthens communities, and creates ripple effects that extend across generations. I'm thrilled to be joined by Samuel Rugi, whose story is in Chapter 10, The Mentorship Advantage, and that illustrates how intentional support and shared experience can unlock human potential. Sam is a global connector, leadership mentor, and passionate advocate for building ecosystems of support that empower the next generation of change makers. Through his leadership, countless innovators have found the clarity, courage, and confidence to reach new heights. Sam, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Shelly.
So, to start our conversation, could you share a bit about your journey? What inspired your passion for mentorship, and how has it shaped your work and leadership path?
Yeah, thanks once again. And I just want to start by saying I was born in Africa, in Kenya, such a beautiful country across the equator and on the East African side. And started my career over there, grew up in a village. So being in a community, we had to help each other. We had a lot of mentorship just from the community leaders. And I think that's where my journey started. I got mentored a lot when I lived in a community, then got to start my career working for a local government there. And again, there's a lot of mentorship within that area. And I got people who identified my skill set. They say, "Hey, why don't you take this new role in Europe, where I had to go and help on an international organization?" So I I took the step of faith. I went there, and again, a lot of mentorship with a lot of people who I met there who helped me to shape my career. And then later on, I got an opportunity to come and live in the United States, which I love. It's a great country. And settling down in a new community, I required a lot of mentors, people to help me to navigate a new community that I had to live in, professionally look for a job. And that's where my journey starts too. When I settled down, I started thinking, how do I give back? I have so many people who have helped me from the community, right? And along the path, I also do a lot of volunteer work, and I met a lot of other amazing people who mentored me in different directions. And I have always been thinking, how do I give back? How do we transform our communities? And that's who I am, and that's who I am. And really appreciate you being my mentor. You played a key role for me when I was doing my executive MBA, and that helped me to succeed in that process.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that insight. Let's jump into the questions, and I've broken them into some themes. And so the first theme is about purpose driven leadership. Now, you've worked, as you said, across industries and regions of the world, mentoring leaders in very different contexts. How do you stay grounded in your purpose while adapting to these new challenges, roles, and environments?
Yeah, again, it goes back to how you get great mentors. Somebody like you, Shelley, who is very open-minded, you welcome me, and you were able to understand my path, and you put the right foundation in me. You were able to help me to identify my bright spot. And with that, I was open to learning. I think that's part of what helps me up to today to grow in that space, is just have an open mind to learn from everyone you meet on your journey. But also, I'm a great, great long learner. I learn a lot. I do training every day. I serve in the board. I'm in the ISC2 Oregon chapter board as a cybersecurity board for cybersecurity professionals. And I get to be mentored by people who are experienced than me and people who are also very young who are coming up with in the industry. So it's a combination of many things, but I'm purpose driven. I want to see our community succeed. I want to see us solving the problems within our community. I also want to see that we are all able to be a gift to each other.
That's wonderful. I love how you think that we're all a gift to each other. That's a wonderful way of highlighting it. As we look at the next themed area, which is awareness as a foundation for growth, you often speak about the importance of awareness, of mission, identity, and context in leadership. In your experience, how does cultivating that awareness help emerging leaders build confidence and lead more effectively?
Yeah, and a great question. Awareness is where our knowledge starts. Like you don't know what you don't know, and you're gonna know it. When you get somebody else share it with you. Like from my journey, starting from the community, like I got somebody identify me for a role to work for a local government, and I apply. And from there, my career started changing. I got somebody else identify me when I was working over there for an opportunity to work in Europe, which I didn't know. Right? Again, it's people identifying your talent. But here's the key thing. I was very open to expose my gift to a lot of these people, right? And they were able to see what I'm capable of, and they knew of opportunities. Again, this is how the awareness in my space has worked. It's because I exposed my gift to the people around me, who were able to identify my strength, and on the other side, they were able to see opportunities where I could integrate. And I think that's the biggest piece for mentors and a mentee to understand is we as mentees, we need to understand our strength, and we need not to shy away from sharing it with other people, because you just never know. When I approached you, Shelly, I didn't know you'll be able to help me a lot to create a huge network in the group. But again, it's the same thing. I exposed myself to you, and you're able to see where I was. You mentored me, and you also helped me to tap into the right opportunities. That's how I would summarize it.
I think that's great how you highlighted it is that you don't keep it to yourself. You need to share with others,
Yeah,
trusted people, what you want to do and your gifts and your strengths. And that is in
yeah,
chapter one, we talk about leadership and doing a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses,
yeah,
opportunities, and threats. So I love how you highlighted that. The next themed question is about opening doors through mentorship. And you just talked about that. Now, your approach to
yeah.
mentorship is deeply rooted in creating access and opportunities for others. Anybody who knows you sees on
Yes.
LinkedIn all the amazing volunteer projects you work on. Can you share can you share one of those stories of how collaboration or connection helped unlock a new pathway either for you or someone you've mentored?
Yeah, I think I can talk for a whole day about that, because everything that I do is all about, those opportunities that I find, the people I find who open the doors. But the most important one I would want to talk about is I have been in the US. I have been in two international events. One was the IAAF Track and Field Oregon Eugene 2022, where I volunteered, and I didn't know this event had a global impact, and I went there and I got assigned to work with some of the top athletes in the world. And before I knew, I was interacting with so many people coming from government and other areas. But from there, I get to get connection to people who work in the field that I work in, including some of the people who helped me to go through my journey in my executive MBA, who I use again as mentors through my program for executive MBA. Another area is, for example, in my cybersecurity work. Right? Just last week, I endorsed one of my colleagues for certification for cybersecurity, because I do serve in the board. Again, you see all these connections that they come in. I'm serving the board. People get to know me through the awareness, right? And then on the other side, they're like, hey, I need your help for endorsement. And since I know them and I know their work, am able to do that because I can advocate for more people to get into the spaces that we are in. So these are some of the examples I can highlight which have really huge impact, not just on me, but also the community I serve and to build profession for other people.
That's fantastic. And you're in chapter 10, which is on mentorship, but you've also talked a little bit about what's in chapter 9. Chapter 9 is about building your network. And so they kind of go hand in hand. A lot of your volunteer work has created a really robust network, which has now led to whether you're being mentored or you're helping to mentor others. So everything in the book is really interconnected. You can't just slice and dice networking and role models and education. Does that sound right?
It does, and I do believe that's how a well-rounded professional need to look at it.
Fantastic. Now, the next section I want to focus on is about representation and role models. Now, representation matters, especially for those who may not see themselves reflected in leadership. Who inspired you on your leadership journey, and how do you now strive to serve as a role model for the next generation?
Yeah, well, I tap in my inspiration from so many people. I mean, some of the greatest leaders that I have seen in the world. Talk of the Nelson Mandelas, Barack Obama's, who had to really overcome a lot of challenges in their space. Talk of Mother Teresa. I'm a huge philanthropist, and I read her story, and I see a lot of great things that happened when she was there. Of course, every leader has their great strength. They have their positive side. There could be some negative. I focus on their best part of it. And when I see those things, they inspire me to move forward. But coming close to where I am, I mean, Shelly, you are my superhero. Like, you came at the point where I had to deal with so many things in my life. I had a family, two children. They're in school, they're in sports. I had a full-time job. Our company was not doing very well at the same time. I had the job role to change. I have an executive MBA. I'm self-sponsored. I want to serve in my community. I had just so many things in my head, Shelly. And you came in, and when I asked you, can you be my mentor? You were able to actually shrink all these things into very workable things. You're like, hey, let's tackle one thing at a time. Your family first. Are you okay? And I remember those were the first things that you were checking on me. Am I okay? And you helped me to really kind of handle all these different things. You shared your personal story with me, how you did your education, how you self-sponsored yourself, how you had to stay at night. And that's really gave me the energy to really balance out and focus on all this. So I would say superheroes like you who showed up for me, very open, you shared your story with me, you are ready to walk the journey with me without judging me, really helped me a lot. And I think that's the way I would look at it. Having somebody like you, Shelly, it's gonna make a great difference in the world. You have a lot of experience. You're willing to walk the journey with the people, not just telling them what they need to do, but actually really walking that journey with a lot of empathy. I do believe those are the key things that I admire in the most of the people I've seen. And of course, I want to say thank you again for walking the journey with me. I know you're with me again, and I know we're gonna do great things together.
Well, I'm very humbled by your kind words and thank you so much. And I I didn't do anything. You did it all. You did all those amazing things. You accomplished those great things and now you've exponentially grown. Because again, anybody who sees all the amazing things you're doing on LinkedIn, the volunteering programs, the outreach in your communities, it's incredible. I also want to highlight the amazing um, mentorship program that brought us together through Women Tech Network. So, although women is in the name, Women Tech Network is open to men and women around the world. And so, I'm grateful to the leaders like Anna, who created Women Tech Network, who's also highlighted in the book. She's actually in chapter 9, building networks. But I'm grateful, Sam, that we were able to connect through such an amazing mentorship program. As we think,
And I loved
oh,
it being in between.
go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say I loved it being between all those great women leaders. I don't see them as women. I think they're all great leaders, again, sharing their gift to everyone else, and it just helps everyone else. And I hope we can do this all together, and we're gonna have amazing transformation in our society.
Absolutely. I think that's really important. Leaders are leaders. We don't need to say women leaders,
Yeah,
men leaders, American leaders. We're all
yeah.
global thought leaders, period. And I think that's the important thing to highlight. I think another thing that you've mentioned as we've talked about it is the importance of building trust and community. So, as you think about trust that's essential for mentorship to succeed, what have you learned about building trust across different cultures, disciplines, and generations? And why is it so critical to creating those meaningful impacts?
Yeah, for sure. For me, I would say I don't think I have the answer for everyone, but I think what have been great for me is self-awareness. I think the minute I learned, and one of my mentors highlighted this to me, and they told me, look, you need to be very self-aware of who you are. Like you also need to be aware of the people you're interacting with. Because self-awareness helps you to develop those skill sets of empathy. You need to put yourself in other people's shoes. As much as you go looking for mentorship, you also need to understand other people are busy. You need to understand the right timing. You also need to understand they may not give you the feedback that you like, but you have to take it. Probably it's the best thing that you can do is make the best out of it. And I think the self-awareness piece plays a key role into that. And then of course uh, different communities have different way of looking at things. So I have to live my Kenyan culture even within the Kenyan community. My wife is not from the same community I come from, so I need to learn from the other culture how things work. I went to Europe, I had to learn a different culture. So really you have to be a lifelong learner, and you have to be willing to learn how different cultures work. Here in Oregon in the US, every day my volunteer work helps me to go out there and learn how the community is evolving, what the things the community like. And those are the things that really helped me to do a lot of the things that I'm doing, the transformation that I'm doing, getting to my executive MBA class. But to the end of it all, once you master that and you have that self awareness, you're open to the people that you're interacting with, they start opening up. I live in Oregon, we say it's a very small community, and almost everybody knows each other. So you really need to be at your best for people to accommodate you. And then, people will start opening up. They understand, hey, he is here to bring a positive change. But also, that's why I share my stories on LinkedIn. For those people who have never met me, they're able to lead through my stories, and they're able to, from there, judge and maybe see the areas of connection. So I think those are kind of the things that have worked for me. And of course, having people like you who also trust people from their face value. I think that's lovely. We have never met, we never worked together, Shelly, but you took me for my words that I shared with you, and you said, I want to work with Sam. And I think that has also opened up a lot of spaces for me and you to be able to discuss great things.
Fantastic. I really love that. As we think about resilience and the long term impact, and you've talked about that from Kenya to Europe to the US, mentorship is not always a straightforward path. It requires patience, resilience, and
Sure.
vision. How do you stay
Yes.
committed to the mission even when progress is slow or challenges
Mhm.
arise?
Yeah, I love that. And I want to say that, and this is not just to say, not to keep on talking about you, Shelly, but you had the best among my mentors. You have the best script for this. One of the things that you did is we documented everything we wanted to work on. Like you were able to help me to identify the things that I need to work on. At least you had also paid attention to my journey, my background. And then the other thing you did is you structured it in the way that we had the time when we had to meet. So that really hold me accountable. And then we also had notes after each and every meeting to help us, both of us, self-reflect. What are we, or where are we heading with this? And then the other thing we had, I think we had milestones. Like, you were asking me, okay, what is happening in the next semester? Do you have the resources that you need? So we are able to identify the resources, the tools, the milestones, which helped our journey to actually really succeed. That's something I have not heard from any other mentor. I really want to highlight that because you did it that in a unique way, and it helped us to succeed on my journey for my executive MBA. I have worked with other mentors and also with myself mentoring other people. I think the part of trying to put a plan plays a key role. and also trying to really find other people who might fill in the gaps. As a mentor, I may not have all the skill set that I need. Sometimes I reach to my former manager, especially when I'm serving in the cybersecurity board. I have my former manager there, and sometimes the question being asked, they're beyond the skill set that I have. And I would tap into him and he would help me. And that's again the network building just help us, all of us, where I can tap into other people I know to fill in the gaps. Those are kind of the things that I have seen helping me to build that rapport, that network, and really has helped me to succeed.
Fantastic. And I think what you also highlighted that's really important for our listeners is that you don't just need one mentor. One mentor may not have
Yep.
all the answers. One mentor may have
Yep.
some, but like you said, you tapped into multiple mentors and got different feedback.
Oh, yeah, and it works very well. You need to have that diversity of thoughts. You need to have validation from other people. And also in industries, for example, in technology, you need to really mingle with people working in other different sectors. Maybe you're in healthcare, you need to get people from banking, you need to get people working for the government, because at the end of the day, the community we are serving is diverse, and you need to see it from all those angles too.
I think that's excellent to highlight to our audience. Think of those mentors as your personal board of directors. You're the CEO of your journey, your destiny, and having mentors, multiple mentors, is like a board of directors. What do you think of that idea, Sam?
I love that, and you're one of my board of directors in my personal career life, and my growth.
Well, thank you. I'm so honored that I've been able to be part of your journey. As we wrap up, what final thought would you like to leave with our audience? Something that can inspire them to lead with purpose, support others through mentorship, and help shape a more impactful future.
Good question, Shelly. I'll go back to what I said. Think you're a gift to the other person. Let's all think that we are a gift to the next person. And I think with that, you're going to realize there is a uniqueness in you. You're going to realize there is opportunity for you to step up and come and help other people. Be a gift to the world. Be a gift to the next person. And stay focused. Apply empathy, love, and kindness, key things that are going to help us to achieve some of those things. So really pay attention to those too. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Sam, thank you for sharing your wisdom, your story, and your passion with us today.
Thank you so much, Shelly.
Now, your perspective reminded us that mentorship isn't just about guidance, it's about unlocking potential, building confidence, and creating pathways of success for others. And we're so grateful that you shared your journey. And I think the big highlight is be a gift to others.
Yes.
For our audience, as we close, I invite you to carry one insight forward, something that moved you, challenged you, or gave you clarity. Maybe it's a reminder that self leadership starts now, not later. Maybe it's the renewed commitment to mentor someone, to open doors, or to lead with purpose in your own sphere of influence. Whatever it is, don't wait. Take that insight and put it into motion this week. If today's conversation inspired you, I encourage you to explore the full chapter and the larger journey in What Space Got to Do with It, an interstellar guide to success available on Amazon. And remember, this is just the beginning of our Interstellar Insight series. In the weeks ahead, we'll explore the other four pillars: leadership, awareness, access, and action through conversations with visionary changemakers that are shaping the world just like Sam. So until next time, I'm Shelli Brunswick, and I look forward to seeing you around the galaxy.